So one last prediction to go for myself, and that's all about 4-3 consolidation in the mobile industry. So very much a hot topic, should we say, and one which has been long discussed and long in the making. Now, obviously, we've seen 4-3 before in a number of markets, in Italy and in Spain. Whilst those were very much positioned as transformative for the market at the time, they did have the unfortunate side effects through the remedies of letting in new entrants into those markets. So we have Iliad arriving in Italy, which you may know a few things about.
Which means that this was not really a 4-3 consolidation effectively.
And now we're seeing a not dissimilar journey for the Spanish market with the arrival of Digi, which is doing a remarkably good job on customer acquisition and infrastructure deployment. So yeah, that's certainly changing the market there quite considerably. So we have seen it before, but not necessarily with the success that it may have had. However, that has potentially changed with the fact that in the UK, the Vodafone 3 merger finally got clearance in 2025. And because of that, with no significant other remedies, so there's going to be no Iliad or Digi entering the UK market. And from that, you can see, other large European operators looking at that as a precedent and thinking, well, isn't it about time that we had a consolidation in our markets?
I think there is a bit of an elephant in the room that we need to address. 2026 started with a big announcement, the run share deal between TIM and Fastweb Vodafone in Italy. So you talk about consolidation in the sense of a merger, right? But what about run sharing? Is this still a hot topic?
I think run sharing can play a part. In some ways, they are complicated deals that take quite a long time to execute, but they certainly give you the infrastructure synergies that are sort of long required, and potentially spectrum synergies as well. Don't underestimate the cost of spectrum in many markets. So I think RAN sharing certainly plays a part to play, and maybe that's the way that Germany will consolidate, potentially an 1&1 and Telefonica, or even a Voda RAN share could be possible there, rather than out-and-out merger. But I think sort of coming back to the sort of 2026 prediction, I think there's two markets where we're likely to see action. We've obviously seen the original offer for SFR being rejected, but we're pretty confident that a revised offer is coming back on the table. And I think just the pressure that Iliad is under will make that offer at some point will be accepted. So I think, as a prediction, that France may be the next market where we'll see a 4-3 merger. And I think you mentioned Italy. I think that there's a good roadmap in Italy too. I think the Wind Tre and free option there in Italy will be the most obvious one. I think merger with other operators like Vodafone maybe just a bit harder to do, particularly as Fastweb and Vodafone are still sort of being integrated. So from that perspective, we are also predicting that in 2026 we could see a announcement in Italy as well. Spain is the other market where there's a clear opportunity for 3 now that Digi is becoming so active and so aggressive. And Zegona is the obvious seller there, we think. However, exactly how that shapes up, given Zegona's high share price, means 2026 is probably unlikely, maybe a few years yet, but that will certainly be, discussed all throughout the year. Yeah, a very interesting time, I think, in the sort of, core telco world from a consolidation perspective. And maybe this is the sort of inflection point that the market really needs to start, driving value creation for shareholders.
Piece of information that I want to add, that you correctly mentioned that run share deals are extremely complicated, and both me and you probably work on quite a few run share deals that were never surfaced the price and they never do. At the TIM Vodafone run share actually was first announced in 2019. It's interesting that it's back on never implemented, of course, and now it's January 2026 and it's back on the table. This is how hard and unpredictable this market is sometimes.
Yeah.
One question to close the loop is, what does it mean, of course, for lenders and investors in digital infrastructures, or better, into towercos? What does it mean for them?
Yeah, I mean, when there's a RAN share in the market, I think there's an opportunity to sort of demonstrate as a towerco in particular your understanding of client needs and your ability to flex where required while still maintaining the revenue line that you need to support the investment thesis. So it's all about the telcos that listen, the telcos that think, and the telcos that provide a win-win solution for all players are the ones that are likely to win out when it comes to consolidation, because ultimately consolidation is all about trying to drive a certain amount of cost out of the business. So I think there's a lot of learnings, I think, from past mergers about how to go about it, and particularly how not to go about it. So I think from that perspective, and I think just on the lenders as well, lending into the core operators, it's certainly an interesting time. I think there's a lot of opportunity for these consolidations will produce potentially new capital stacks, which will be interesting, and a lot of money to be spent in terms of consolidation. Certainly in the UK, there's 11 billion to be spent. So from that perspective, I think it's a good opportunity for lenders. I think there's a lot of things that really need to understand about the merging process and how long synergies take to release. But yeah, it provides opportunity as well as well beyond what people would otherwise expect a consolidation to do.
Thank you, Charles. So this was prediction number 6, the last one for these years. Are we going to be right? Are we going to be wrong? Well, let's discuss it during the years. Any final remarks from your side before saying?
I think 2026 is going to be a fantastic year. We're certainly looking forward to it. We saw an uptick in activity, in the second half of 2025, and we're only seeing interest and activity straight from the get-go in 2026. Reasonably good looking pipeline going forward. So I think it's going to be certainly an interesting year.